Welcome everyone to Agile in Color Share Your Story series. I'm your host for this evening, Nicole Spenscoon, and I'm one of the core team members for Agile in Color. And with me tonight, as part of this team, is Matt Carlson and Khadija Hurst. They will be helping me monitor chat, all the good things, letting people in. So it takes all of us to make this thing work. So in the Share Your Story series, we come together for this quarterly meetup event where we profile various Black Agilists and thought leaders. The goal is to tell stories we don't normally get to hear and to understand each person's Agile journey from the Black Agilist perspective. We hope by hearing these stories and our Agile community will be able to identify with the storyteller and visualize their own possibilities. So tonight, we are featuring April Jefferson. I'm so excited she is here.
Oh,
I,
thank you.
I first met April at the Women in Agile conference in 2019 when she was encouraging me to attend the Women in Agile Open conference. She was probably only the second Black woman in Agile that I had personally connected with at that time. And I am so happy I did.
Mm,
Uh, she is a coach, a speaker, a conference organizer, and a community builder of communities like Women in Agile Open and Future of Work. She is also a space creator in that she makes space for others and to help unlock their full potential. I won't be able to do you justice, April, because there are so many things you do and you do for the community. So I would like you to introduce yourself to these good people so we can all learn about your wonderful spirit.
um, well, I like to say I'm just April, honestly. Um, I understand that why I'm here on this earth, I'm meant to add value to the world, to help people nurture the journey to nourish themselves. And and that's how I try to show up. I've given myself the moniker soul craftswoman as something that I'm honestly always trying to obtain is that supporting people in that way of linking together the various mindsets that support us unlocking our potential. So
Thank you, April.
thank you.
All right, so let's go a little back in your life and talk about where you grew up as a kid. I know people who joined earlier know that you're from Detroit. So just give the whole group a little bit more about your story growing up.
Well, I grew up poor, like couldn't afford the OR. Lived from the Detroit. But I would say one of the beautiful things is that um, I had with me is someone like um, who always told me I can do whatever I wanted to do. And that's never been an inhibitor. So if I couldn't do something, it's only because I couldn't dream it.
Nice.
Yeah. That's the best way to kind of think about it is that I remember different things like growing up, like there's a will, there's a way, right? Those sorts of different little positive messages. Yeah, we kind of saw the stuff in commercials that actually told you something positive and taught you things growing up. A
Yeah.
little. I'm a lot older than I look, clearly, because I don't know what commercials look like today. But but yeah.
Oh my gosh, I
Yeah,
do.
I went to, you know, Catholic school, then public school, and I was like, whoa, like it's kind of crazy here, right? And but despite it all, like in my journey, like through public school and then going to, a charter school and that kind of stuff, in high school, I always figured out like, hey, I'm gonna excel no matter what. Um, I didn't as a person, and maybe that's part of how I live life now too, is that I was never a clique type of person. I saw people and I had friends with people in all the different cliques, and I saw them for who they were and how special they were, and inviting them in to be a part of my community, no matter where. And that's always been the case. So I think the beautiful thing is that when you see people, you're able to see people all over the world. And I've been blessed to have connections, real deep connections with people all over, over in this world, in and outside of this Agile community. So, yeah.
Yes. Yes, you do. And so that spirit, everybody is drawn to that, to your spirit. So we are grateful for you always welcoming each and every one of us into your circle. So, how did you get started in this kind of tech space that we live in? Mostly, it's mostly tech space for our Agilist community.
Well, I joined a team at one point in time that was an XP team. So I'm not like a lot of people who started off in Scrum and that kind of stuff. And that probably, understanding that, you could probably see where a lot of my thinking comes from, where we literally learned from a book and started applying it. And we all showed up as team members and was working beyond the role. Like,
Mm,
if it was job title, I came in as a technical writer, but I showed up as a team member. We all worked and paired on everything. It's probably like the purest sense of collaboration that I could ever think of. It was so easy. We like
mm,
figured stuff out ourselves,
mm,
and like how we worked. We were really self-managed and self-organized,
mm.
um, and completely empowered on how we did work together.
Wow.
So,
So what was it that actually sparked your interest in going into this area?
it was more of understanding how unique that was, because I naturally, it wasn't like quite long after college before I joined a team like that. I assumed like, oh, finally I'm back to like how we worked, I would say, in my um, collegiate career, which was very collaborative and that kind of stuff. And then you go to the, real world and like, wait, what the heck happened, right? Uh, is that I experienced that like, oh, and then I was able to share that as I went to other places. And that really is the part of where the start of me coaching. And again, coaching as a capability, not a role.
Mhm.
And sharing that my experiences with others and how to apply those things. That's how I began. And I kept doing it.
Keep on sharing.
Hmm. Yeah.
So in this, I guess, larger coaching space, what about it do you find most rewarding?
To me, what I find most rewarding is definitely when people unlock a aha moment, when
Mhm.
when you can physically see that click,
Right.
like that mind blown moment. Uh, that's really beautiful. That's really beautiful. And sometimes as a coach, uh, you may hear people, especially that's one of the things I miss about, like in-person coaching and that kind of
Mhm.
thing. And when you're hearing people maybe literally parroting or mirroring some of your own language and they don't even know it. They'll probably never give you credit for it, but we don't do it for the credit.
Right,
Um, but it's beautiful to see that transition and them being able to share, you know, their connection to it and really dig into the why behind what they're doing. And that's really important for me is people to unlock for themselves why they're doing it. Coaching is definitely not like following a playbook in my regard.
right.
Checking a box or teaching people how to go through um, a step-by-step process, but figuring out what works for them to
Right.
support what is valuable, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So helping them find that why. Um, I know you probably touched on it a bit so far, but why, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? And that's not just relegated to coaching.
Hmm. Well, life is about loving others. I have a collective mindset over an individual mindset. And I know I'm an imperfect soul, but I honestly believe that supporting the collective, that'll help myself as well on this journey of life. Yeah.
Yeah, you're better together.
Hmm.
I agree. It's that speaks to me as well as being collaborative and being part of something bigger than
Mhm.
yourself.
Yeah.
So on the other side of the spectrum, what have you found as the biggest challenge that you've encountered in this coaching path that you've been on?
Mm. I think for me personally, it was it was myself
Hmm.
moving beyond fear. When I did the work, um, I do believe uh, coaches need coaches, right? Whether and it could be yourself, you can coach yourself with other by actually coaching yourself, truly understanding what you might need to work on to be able to help and support others. And the biggest thing for me was walking in freedom and not fear. And that was uh, giving up those chains of fear really helped me um, be who I am today and be able to do the things that I have done and step
Yeah.
into the leader that I have shown up to be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know this is like going down this path, but I was just like, how did you make that first step for challenging that fear?
Mm. Honestly, I wanted to be the same person who I am professionally as I am personally and being real about it.
Yeah.
It felt like that was authentic.
Yeah. That's something that's I know a lot of people. have a challenge with, because we're like told to be professional,
Mhm.
and so it's definitely a big step to get out of that mindset.
Yeah, it's freeing though.
Yeah, it is. I agree. I'm not fully there yet myself, but I'm working on it.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that you never have your moments for a failure, Bow, if you consider failure. And I've also discovered that it's only failure if you learn nothing from it. So
Yeah.
that learning, Bow.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
more you notice it, by me, for example, me doing that work to walk in freedom over fear, is that I I made an intention around it. And from that intention, I was able to see it sooner.
Mhm.
And and so much so that I'm like, ooh, I was just I'm like, I'm gonna do the opposite. Because like this response or whatever it is, that's fear.
Right.
So don't allow that to cripple me. You'll be more sensitive once you make those positive intentions. Positive written intentions are really powerful.
Yeah.
Because as I say, the worst thing you could do is lie to yourself. I'm never going to lie to myself.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oof. I just want to take a pause and see if we have any questions. I know there's some things in the chat. Oh, okay. I see one from Mari. Can you share an example of how you coached yourself?
Oh, well, that was one of the ones I just shared, was that walking in freedom over fear. Um, is that I set the intention on what I want to do, and I do those all the time. Is that I, for me, I made it like I made a decision that um, I wanted to do more in the community, right? This are my professional community. And I said, okay, how might I do that, right? You kind of take goals, right, and break those down, right? So I had the intention. Now I need to figure out how do I get there? What's the one little thing I can do? The first thing I could do is say, hey, can you pair with me? Ask someone.
Hmm.
Don't be afraid to ask someone for help. It's like, hey, I would love to give this talk. I've never done it before. How might I do that? Can you pair with me? And someone said yes. And I remember the first person I asked that. He's no longer here. He passed away earlier this year. His name was Jerry Kirk. Awesome, awesome gentleman. And he paired with me on my first talk that I did, and he showed up. He was like, "Okay, I'll pair with you, but this is how I'm going to show up. I'm just going to walk you through like doing it, like, but you're going to do it all on your own, right?" And it gave me a lot of confidence, and I started doing more of it. Say, "Oh, I like this," right? And also, it helped me too. For example, we talked a little bit before in the pre-party about like conferences and that kind of stuff. And one of the things I wanted to do is when you work for different people, is that you may or may have to get approved to go to conferences and have your company pay for it. And I didn't want that to be a hindrance. I wanted to just be able to do what I wanted to do. And I knew that if I sold into my community, then I get to go for free learning, right?
Hmm.
And that has been a blessing. Is that how we show up in as a community, I would say, and provide that learning for one another for free or very minimal, that we speak at conferences and share our experiences or discover new things, and we do that. And that's how we have all these different experiences, because people are showing up as a collective to help support other people in their learning journey. So, yeah. Hopefully I answered the question somewhere in there.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure
But
you did. All right. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit and think
mhm.
about um, coming up. It's a little related to your story. But what professional advice would you give up and coming Black Agilists?
That's a good one. Um, is that you are free. I mean, don't put yourself into a box. People, and this is for anyone really, but I see often is that some people, because they're in the prison, they want you to join them. You don't have to join them. You can open that box, step out, and begin your journey. It's like that your conscience, your street smarts on like what might you do next, what feels right, do that. It's okay to be completely principled and hold on to your values at all time. You don't have to shrink yourself at all in this space. Um, as I say, when I freed my fro, my big hair, I I unlocked my voice.
Right. Step into it.
Mhm. Get out of the box.
Yeah. So that's one part for the individual to step out of the box. But there are barriers that exist. Yeah, and can you say what barriers you have seen in the Agile community for aspiring Black Agilists?
Well, the mindset of I can't do that, right?
Mm.
They've heard too many things. They had uh, too many voices or experiences, I would say, that kind of knocked them down a little bit, that caused them to shrink themselves, to believe something wasn't possible, to cause them to be in that box of an imposter syndrome. I think othering, microaggressions, all that sorts of things have done that to people. But we can choose to just say no. And that was the biggest thing that helped me out, was just saying no to all of that. I remember clearly when people told me that my empathy was my weakness. And I had another coach in this community, Alex Harms. It's like, what if that was your greatest strength? Take all those things that people say about you that you think are your weaknesses, and it's like, what would it look like if that was your strength? And I constantly still explore it today. I've had other people tell me, it's like, I thought I was an empath, and then I understood, like you, it's like, wow, you kind of use that in all the different things, and don't put it in a box.
Right. Mm.
Yeah. Write a different story. We're talking about stories today.
Mm-hmm.
You write your story. Don't allow other people to write it for you.
Amen.
I know.
Write your own story. So thinking about people who are writing their own story, can you share with us 3 Black Agilists who are doing amazing things right now in writing their own stories?
First person I think of is Ashanti Gardner. She has been doing a lot in this space and playing in this space. I know I keep inviting her to do different things in this space, and
So
that
does
we see
Dr.
that
Dave.
we're all connected together, and that
Mhm.
like that's a gift, right? That she has of visual scribing and other things. Like actually, Ashanti and we have play dates with someone else who's a design tinkerer every Saturday to we kind of talk together about like we're like creating a beautiful world together. What we call it our Saturday morning cartoons, our play day where we're playing. And I think she's doing the beautiful things like in her work and also trying to also shows up constantly in the community, right?
Yeah.
Definitely one to support. Another one I think is quite amazing is Andrea Pratt Smith and how
Mm,
she's trying to really bring agility to uh, the Bahamas.
yes.
And and I remember when she first shared that and how she's has launched that community and the work that she's doing there. And also it's beautiful to see the community support her, try to make that happen. And the other person I want to give someone on a like not in the States because we have a beautiful community like global. I would say Anthony Marcano, he's over in the London area. He does a lot for uh, different people like Girls Who Code and that kind of stuff. He's contributed been a contributor on many books that we love in this community and enjoying seeing always like how he's gonna play next. And there's so many more too as people are doing so much as trying to on the African continent, Agile and Africa, that kind of stuff. It's just
Yes.
so many people to name. So I would say definitely like look and see what they're doing in that space.
Mm. Yes, I know your reach is worldwide.
Yeah.
Connected worldwide. Um, all right, so I'm gonna circle back to you. What would you say um, has been the biggest risk that you have taken?
Hmm. The biggest risk that I clearly have taken, because people tell me this all the time, is that sometimes I don't even know like how risky that is that I bring my full self all the time. I talk about the elephants. I do it generatively, right? I care about that, but I've discovered that that's gifts to people. And I'm sharing so many things as people have mentioned that others aren't sharing, that they're silent about, that
Mm,
they're frozen and able to share it, but able to find the words to articulate it in the way that people can hear it. So, and I would say the other thing is for me making a decision to kind of show up and kind of lead in this community and start doing my own thing and not I had ideas about communities for a long time, launching different things. And I thought I needed other people to do it, but I just did it on my own. Like, hey, I have this idea, like Women in Agile Open, which you came to the first one. And I knew that we needed this space because I knew the impact of open space because I met beautiful people that are here, like Matt and Jenny. Like they were at my first open space together. And we're like, oh, I want to give this to the community because I know it can change them. Like we haven't delved deep enough yet, right?
Yeah.
And just make it the intention to do it. And I was like, hey, I want to do this thing. Do you want to join me? Right?
Yeah.
Which you said yes to one of those things too, Nicole, because, uh, uh, which is beautiful. Although, like, be careful, people. When you talk to me, you may end up doing something with me. Uh, as you know.
It's true.
But yeah.
That is true. That is true. But I will say, I'll just speak for the Women in Agile Open. The inaugural one was a very special event.
Yeah. People told me after like, oh, I've changed my career. You changed my life with this type of thing. That's beautiful. It's that you never know. You can have great impact, that those ideas, they can come to fruition. Share them. People will join you.
Yeah.
If there's passion and responsibility, it can come alive.
Yes. I agree. 100%. I've seen it. Been in it, seen it,
Yeah.
celebrate it, all of those things.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I think about Agile in Color when at the Agile Alliance when everyone, as I say, was sending their love letter to Black souls after George Floyd was murdered. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. Okay, what are we gonna do? And I stepped in and we did a series for it. And the idea for Agile in Color came from people like working through and designing out of that. And it's beautiful. Look at amazing things that are happening because of it from
yes.
an idea, right?
Yes.
Your voice can matter, can spark other things, and that's what this is about, right? I'm excited to see what else somebody else in this community is going to spark something else and to keep another thread alive. And this is how we bring agility and this way of thinking to the world, as because we know that it's beyond the office, right?
Yeah, it is. I think that's where, at least for me, the excitement is born and grows.
Mhm.
Mm, absolutely. All right. Um, so I want to know, what are the things that you do to continue to grow and develop as a leader in
Hmm.
all the different spaces you're in?
Well, the biggest thing that I've learned is to reducing my work in progress, reducing my WIP to make difficult this to have a way to make the decisions on what I say yes to and what I say no to. So you're not burnt out and then just walk away from it all.
Right.
Yeah.
That is hard.
Yeah. So like invest time in kind of visioning and saying like, what do I value? The things do I say yes to? Does it meet those things? And then sometimes you'll have competing things, so you still have to say no, right?
Yeah.
but that has helped me as I've grown in this. Because I remember when I first like said different things like, oh, I'm going to do less this year or whatever. And I end up doing more than I ever have done before. And so I'm like, okay, that didn't work. Let's retrospect and find another way.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah. Because I think, especially like 2020, I was like, oh, I'm just taking a break, I did less. I have a list of like all the places I've contributed, conferences and all sorts of stuff. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna cut that down, like way down. And the number is I can't tell you because it was so awful on how
Right.
much, like, I didn't say no to anything. I just said yes. Then I discovered, okay, like after that, it's instead of just saying no, I can do is make space for others. I'm like, oh, cool. I'll find you. I know so and so they can support. How about I give you this one? And then you're creating opportunities for other people, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
I know someone, I know someone, I know someone. And so I say yes to less, but I give opportunity to more.
Mm. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's beautiful. So I see that saying, so that in and of itself is a skill. Um, how you manage to say yes less, but obviously give more through connecting with other people. What other skills have you found that you have that have been most beneficial for you working in this space?
Empathy, vulnerability, fearlessness, honestly. Uh, the whole like fearlessness with empathy paired together is that is that beautiful marriage to engage people generatively, right? Versus placating or not having difficult conversations or different things like that. Like, oh, you know, all these things are opportunities.
Indeed. How do you channel your fearlessness or your fearless spirit in times when you're feeling a little bit of that fear creeping in?
Um, I name it, and then I'm able to walk in freedom from it. Because I'm like, ooh, because I'm pretty by paying attention to it and doing the work on it, I can
Mhm.
identify fear a lot sooner and be able to adjust, right?
Mhm.
Faster if it does creep in. Like practice leads to mastery.
Yeah. Practice, practice, practice.
And to be
Mm.
able to correct it in the moment. That's the beautiful thing. It's like, oh, no matter what, like, oh, you know what? Like felt there. I'm so I've never to me, I think it's okay, like, hey, sorry, messed up or whatever, or like, no, I'm gonna backtrack. Like that doesn't make any sense at all. That's coming out of fear. Like, oh, of course, let's do this. Whatever it is, right? Like like all things are possible. Um I know people have said they walk away from me and they feel that they can do anything because they can. because you truly can. You can do anything. You have to make the intention to be able to do so.
Right.
Yeah.
Get that April vitamin. I need my April vitamin.
Oh, is that what vitamin A is?
There you go. I need some vitamin A. Get my vitamin A. Absolutely. I need that.
Yeah. Get your vitamin N. 'Cause,
Absolutely. So you've given a lot of people in this community a lot, and you know, in many different forms. Um, how have you, it's because it's like an angle on the question, how have you received, whether it's advice or just gifts from others? What gifts
oh,
have you received from others?
that's the best part. I would say for me, um, I am so happy to carry, and I've mentioned different things, people, not in the way of name dropping. It's like, hey, they bless me in different ways. And it's those micro moments for me. One of the stickiest things for people is literally it could just be a couple words that I remember,
Mm,
that I hone in and I use and apply in my life because of like it gave me an aha moment. Those short little words. It wasn't a speech or something that read. It was like, hey, they sold into me with a few little words that was sticky,
mhm,
that connected to me in the right moment. And like I mentioned, like with Alex, was like, hey, what if that was your greatest strength?
mm,
Never forget that. I've helped youth kind of look at that and see themselves, right? And see how they add value to the world from that sharing that same thought that someone shared with me. Um, or something like, what if you did nothing, right? To understand like the principles of open space a little bit more, like whatever happens, because it's the only thing that could,
mm.
that I don't have to be in the mix, right? It's very freeing as someone, as you notice, I do a lot of freaking different things,
Yes, I do. I just happen to notice that a little bit.
but also that I've learned to give up control and all the different things. It creates space for people to have freedom in it. So for when the different communities, like you mentioned, the future of work, some people are odd. I'm like, oh, like, hey, do whatever the heck you want to do. We walk in these, this is what guides us, is these principles. You've taken on this, we trust you to be able to do that. And not expecting is such a loose structure to walk in. As someone who felt that at one time I needed to control stuff, and I don't need to control anything, right?
Mm,
So it's those little things that, as I say, I carry everybody with me. I'm sure something you said today that I'm gonna be mindful of when I'm out in the wild. And so it's not one particular person, it's many people who have sold into me and in my life that I value. And it may be their character, how they show up authentically,
Mhm.
um, or maybe a word. All those are blessings, and I'm thankful for it. I'm really thankful for an amazing community, that help me thrive and uh, help uh, create a space for me to shape my growth.
Yeah, we're we are happy you're here and part of this community.
Yeah.
So I know you've said a lot of yes to a lot of things and created spaces for a lot of people. What are you currently striving for, or what goals you have right now? What's in your what's on your radar or upcoming?
Mm. Oh, coming. I'm trying to now as I've done a lot of things in the virtual spaces. I'm trying to get back to creating intimate in-person spaces for
Mhm.
people based upon the different communities, the various communities that I work with to have them come together that where they can have an authentic moment with a few people and have deep connections and move actions forward. So those are some of the spaces that I'm playing with
Mm.
next.
I can't wait to hear more about it.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
when April creates some space, it's like, oh, I hope I can go.
You know, I hope you can too. It'll be
Yes,
beautiful.
yes, yes, yes. I just wanted to check and because I've been peppering April with lots of questions. I wanted to check if anybody out there had questions for April. I'm just looking through the chat and everybody's talking about vitamin A, saying you've inspired me to start a list of action items for 2023, 24.
Mm,
Oh,
yeah.
awesome. Give
Now
yourself
is now is
grace.
always the perfect time. Mhm.
Mm. Oh, I see Khadija saying, can you share what you have planned next? Do you have any specifics on anything?
Okay, so of course, open space. I tried to like limit my open space talk because, but and Matt's laughing at me right now. But I'm a little bit of an open space junkie, um,
You think?
and uh, it really is quite powerful. Because for me, it's the mindset of open space, which I'm writing a book about open space,
All right.
and one of the different things, not only do I next week is Agile Upper Northwest. I'm on the board there, even though I live in the Detroit area and I don't live in the Pacific Northwest. I'm on their board there. So we are hoping to we have a virtual open space next week. We hope to have an in-person open space soon for Women in Agile Open. I think to expect something like in the fall where we do an intimate in-person space. I'm also on the Open Space Institute, and we're looking at doing something as well. And I've been asked to help out with some other spaces too, with bringing other like consultants to do different things. It's I don't only those couple things.
Oh, just a few things. No big deal. A few 5, 10, 20 things.
Yeah.
Uh, there is a question here from
And I have a couple
Kimberly.
of games that I'm working on too.
Ooh,
So, but
yeah.
yeah.
Um, somebody is asking how to get involved in open space, and they want to pre-order your book.
So we'll letting you know when it's out. What's the
Yes.
beauty of the book that I'm writing with another Agilist in the Florida area? Because
Mm,
uh, got to keep it broad.
mhm.
Mark Kilby, and
Oh, Mark.
and it will have a lot of voices in this large global community in our
Right.
book. That's beautiful. And so yeah, just message me. I will let you know about happenings in open space. As I said, there's one next week. It's called Agile Open Northwest. It's in the Pacific Northwest. It's a 3-day open space, so if you can pop in for a day, please do. And then as other things arrive, I tend to know about something. Or if you need someone to help you hold a space, there's not just me, there's other people on this call who knows a little something about it as well that can that are amazing. As I said, Matt actually facilitated the first open space I was at. Uh,
Nice. All right. Well, there's following up on that. How can people connect with you?
um, you can find me at Soul Craftswoman on LinkedIn. Twitter. If anybody's on Twitter, I guess. You can also email me at april@craftswoman.com or just look up April Jefferson. I'm the person with the curly hair.
Yes, yes, you can definitely find her on LinkedIn.
I'm also, I didn't mention it, I'm the Global Member Engagement Ambassador for the Agile Alliance uh, as well. And I help host multiple monthly meetups for the Agile Alliance. So just in part-time.
Just
So
part-time.
so the first week of every month we do a games conference, me and Ellen Grove. We do a games meetup. Um, and quarterly on the second Wednesday of every month we do a tech talk. And on the at the end of each Wednesday on each month we do a lean coffee there as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So you will find her
Just ask
one
me. I
way or
can
the other. You
yeah.
will see
There's a
her,
lot of
find her.
different things. And then you can see you can contact me at the Agile Alliance too. Um
Yeah, lots of
uh
different
uh,
methods to reach out.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Matt, thanks, Matt, for sharing stuff. All right. So before we close, is there anything that we didn't talk about or cover that you want to share with everyone that you want them to know about you or about your experiences?
Hmm. I think the biggest thing that I'm most excited about is all of you, honestly,
Mhm.
is that reach out, talk to me about you. I love to get to know people. Sometimes might be surprised, like, oh, like I can get a little time with you. Yeah, you can get a little time with me. I'm and but it will be generative. Like I do honestly care about people and want to get to know you and how you want to add value to the world next. And how might I help support that, like that to happen?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I would say the
This
biggest thing is that we are a community. I encourage people to think collectively beyond self.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Think collectively. And with that message of community, one thing that we want to make sure of is that everybody here knows that they are not alone. If they felt like they were, they didn't know of this particular community or other communities, I want you to all connect here. Drop your LinkedIn. We will connect with you. And through our connections, you can connect to April. If you didn't get all her information, we can create those connections and those links, link our hands together, and make our community bigger and welcome. We welcome everybody. So we are here for all of you.
Yeah, it's better with you in it. You.
Absolutely. There with you and you and you and you in it. So I've had seen people drop their LinkedIn. So like Mari, I know I saw some new faces in the chat. Please feel free to connect with all of us. We're happy to be here for you all. And with that, I will say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, April, for
Thank you for having me.
spending this time with us. I'm so happy to have this chance to talk to you, for you to share with us, share some of your joyous spirit with us, and all of the wonderful creative ideas that you shared with us and giving us different ways to just think about being in this space. So thank you.
Mm,
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
thank you.